28. All right, we're listening to Kamala Harris talk.
Thank you all. Thank you.
I've always thought that a good triplet name that ends in a vowel sound is probably one of the easiest ones to chant, aside from a strong single syllable name like Trump, 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 Trump. But like in America, especially because USA, USA, Obama, Kamala. I think those are pretty solid. You just can't get the same oomph out of like a Biden, Biden, Biden. It just doesn't hit as hard as a dun dun da 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 da. And then just a good single name is usually the best, but it is what it is.
Thank you.
Team Coconut.
Thank you.
Come on, Team Coconut.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, Wisconsin. And it is so good to be here and be back with so many extraordinary leaders, including my friend, the great governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers. He's here somewhere. My dear friend, Senator Tammy Baldwin. And I had the privilege of serving with Tammy when I was in the United States Senate, and she is always fighting for the people of this state. And I know that the folks that are here are going to make sure you return her to Washington, D.C.
I have this on 1.25, so I'll let you get. She is talking a little bit faster because of that.
Yes, we are going to elect her back to Washington, D.C. It is so good to be here also with Lieutenant.
Dude, it's crazy to think if she was president, having a president that can actually really move their head around and look at multiple people at a table, and that she can recognize their faces. Donald Trump and Biden both have an issue where they move their heads and their eyes with the same rhythm a baby does. You ever seen a baby and a baby's like that? Donald Trump does the same thing. People think that he's like this very he's charismatic. He is Donald Trump. Have you ever noticed he's always got this one thing that he does where it makes it, I don't think he's paying attention at all, but he does the bird neck. He goes, he just does that again and again. But if you watch his eyes, he doesn't look at anything. They'll focus in the direction of where sound's coming from, but there isn't that sense of aliveness, that I'm taking in information. It is the same, my dog has the same fucking reaction to stuff. That's fucking it.
Governor Sarah Rodriguez. Attorney General Josh Cole, Wisconsin Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski,
Wisconsin Secretary of State Godlewski,
County Executive David Crowley,
County
Mayor
Executive David Crowley
Johnson,
down fucking long this.
The great state party chair Ben Wickler.
How fucking long that goddamn list would have taken with either candidate. That would have been a long list. Okay. Governor 17. And Johnny Kernan of very smart, a very good guy from California. And we have good. Here's what I gotta tell. Donald Trump's gonna fucking tell it like little old man. And of course we have another guy. He's this dude. He's from my thing. Very good guy. I played golf with him 2 days ago. Very good at golf. He's one of the best. I tell him he's one of the best. One of the best. Therefore, you know how fucking long this is all you're supposed to say during these things.
worked with Benju, and I've been working together for years, and I can attest he knows how to build the infrastructure that delivers wins up and down the ballot. Thank you, Ben. So it is good to be back in Wisconsin, and it is great to be in Milwaukee. As many of you know, our state campaign headquarters are in this city. Yes, and that there is a reason for that. The path to the White House goes through Wisconsin. Yes, it does. And to win in Wisconsin, we are counting on you right here in Milwaukee. And you all helped us win in 2020. And in 2024, we will win again. Yes, we will. So, Milwaukee, I want to start by saying a few words, and I could really speak at length, but a few words about our incredible President Joe Biden. It has truly been one of the greatest honors of my life to serve as Vice President to our President Joe Biden. Joe's legacy of accomplishment over his entire career and over the past 3.5 years is unmatched in modern history. In one term, think about it, in one term as president, he has already surpassed the legacy of most presidents who served 2 terms in office. And I know we are all deeply, deeply grateful for his continuing service to our nation. And it is my great honor to have Joe Biden's endorsement in this race. So, Wisconsin, I am told as of this morning that we have earned the support of enough delegates to secure the Democratic nomination. And I am so very honored, and I pledge to you, I will spend the coming weeks continuing to unite our party so that we are ready to win in November. So, friends, we have 105 days until Election Day, and in that time, we've got some work to do. But we're not afraid of hard work. We like hard work, don't we?
Yeah. I don't know why the bunny cam's unfocused.
We will win this election. Yes, we will.
Yes, we will.
So as Leah told you, before I was elected vice president, before I was elected United States Senator, I was elected Attorney General of the state of California, and I was a courtroom prosecutor before then. And in those roles,
fucking Copmala Harris. I mean, okay, everybody's gonna be fucking excited about this. Ooh, sorry. Everybody's gonna be fucking excited about this. Ooh, it's Copmala. But what the fuck has Copmala done about Palestine? She's a prosecutor. When is she gonna prosecute all of Israel? I don't know about you, but chat, can I get some supers in chat if you were willing to throw this election for nothing?
Took on perpetrators of all kinds.
Oh.
Abused women. Who ripped off consumers. Cheaters. Who broke the rules for their own gain.
Oh.
So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
Oh, yo, dude. Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Bro, I'm going to be the poorest winner. Oh, they're doing Kamala. I thought they were saying lock him up. I think there's some lock him ups in that Kamala.
And in this campaign, I promise you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
Fucking right, dude. The lady that's doing the fight. Dude, there is some fucking spice coming off of that goddamn that hearing coordinator down at the bottom for the hearing impaired, the sign language individual was going in, dude.
As Attorney General of California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges that was scamming students. Donald Trump.
Who is this black lady in the bottom right corner, and why is she trying to cast spells on me? I don't trust this black magic. They're gonna get upset about that. They're gonna get upset about the black magic. But I'm telling you right now, there's witchcraft afoot. Women walking around, who knows where they are in their cycle. They call themselves moon sisters. She's waving her hands. I feel unwell. I feel sick. I think that this is unfair. Black magic being cast on me. And people are gonna
ran a for-profit college that scammed students.
Blowhaj is a shark? Oh, my bad. Blowhigh. Oh, God, I can't say that at all.
As a prosecutor, I specialized in cases involving sexual abuse. Well, Trump was found liable for committing sexual abuse.
Fucking hitting him in the fucking dick,
As Attorney
dude.
General of California, I took on the big Wall Street banks and held them accountable for fraud.
Based?
Donald Trump was just found guilty of fraud on 34 counts. But
Lock him up.
make no mistake, this campaign is not just about us versus Donald Trump. This campaign is about who we fight for. This is about who we fight for.
Don't forget Crystal Mommies.
Just look at how we are running our campaigns.
They've got these people. They got the left has these women, Crystal Mommies. I don't know what that is. I don't know what they're up to. They told me Mercury's in retrograde, and that's why I have a small penis. I do not have a small. It's very respectably sized. Not shaped. That disgusting porn star Stormy Daniels, probably a Crystal Mommy herself. She tried to say I had a little mushroom tip. It's not small at all. It's not. She said she called me Shiitake Don. I said that's not okay. The liberal leftist, communist, I'll say communist politicians, Crystal Mommies, whatever that means, telling me Mercury's in retrograde, calling me Shiitake Don. Lock him up. When are we going to end this? This is insanity. It's madness. And I'll tell you, it's not lowering the temperature. I got an ear piercing the other day at a Donald Trump event. Normally happens only at Woodstock, maybe. Out here in the woods, I saw a tree. Woodstock is what it felt like. Good music at that. I was around for it. I didn't go. It smelled weird. I got a piercing, though, here. Normally, you have to go to Sleepy Joe's people, but they came to me and gave me an ear piercing in the middle of a speech. I had good graphs up, the best graphs. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 graphs. All 10 of them. I was looking at all 10 at once, and then, thank God, the spirit of 1970-something came down. It turned my head to the side. I said, oh, God, that's the number 15. And then, boom. Now I'm trendy. I'm gauged. I'm hooked. They have offered me jobs at tattoo parlors. Drawing my own face on old men's asses. And it's a wonderful job. It's the best job. Normally, not a black job. No white people. Only white people at that tattoo parlor. A lot of them bald, which is fine. I'm not bald. I have great hair. But not taking any black jobs, I'll tell you that right now. I got to soak it up, dude. The guy might die. And then what? What am I No one gives a shit about Jimmy Carter impressions. No one can even do one. You know what I mean? I got fucking like 3 months left. I'm fucking Tyler, you're doing the goddamn Trump too much. You fucking goddamn. I'm done with it soon.
So Donald Trump is relying on support from billionaires and big corporations. And he is trading access in exchange for campaign contributions.
Yes, very bad.
A couple months ago, y'all saw that a couple months ago at Mar-a-Lago, he literally promised big oil companies, big oil lobbyists, he would do their bidding for $1 billion in campaign donations. On the other hand,
it's not true. It's not.
Are running a people-powered campaign.
I tried to do this. When I was making Donald Trump, very nice, very good suits, Donald Trump brand suits. I said I want the finest Italian silk. They said the only place you can get that is China. And we tried people power there. For the sewing machines, we had 15, 16 Chinese people on very large wheels running like hamsters to power the facility. They couldn't do it. It didn't work. But people power, they say that how many liberals are you going to get to run on the little Chinese wheels that we put together? I don't think you're going to have very many. People power, what does that even mean? I don't know. You know what the real power in this world is? It is looking at a chart when someone tries to shoot you to death. That's what it is. It's just knowing when to turn your head, which I've always done. I've always known to look away. And I'll do that for the American people and the American corporations that make us so powerful, so good. Very good, the best corporations. And my promise is, when I'm president, I will look away again.
And we just had some breaking news. We just had the best 24 hours.
Bunny's relaxed. Bunny's chilling, dude. That's my guy.
Of grassroots fundraising in presidential campaign history. All right?
I took a nap. Come on, tell him I took a nap.
We are a people-powered campaign. That is how you know we will be a people-first presidency.
Bro's got his
This campaign is also about two different visions for our nation. One, where we are focused on the future. The other, focused on the past. We
give me the Kamala.
Future.
I need the Kamala Wojcik. Where she's pointing at the future and then the past.
Where every person has the opportunity.
Are people not allowed to point anymore without you trying to Wojak them, Tyler?
Not just to get by, but to get ahead.
I feel like Trump's Chinese industries have the big soup pot they just put stuff in, like when Frank had a Vietnamese business gets.
Where every worker has the freedom to join a union.
Pimenta, why does she speak with TTS pauses? That's actually a really good question. This is how a speech works. These are called sound bites. This is weird. That's the best question. You don't know how good of a question that is. It's fucking awesome. So if you, you have to not be too old. Once upon a time, there was a series of years called the 2010s. Okay. And that's when politics ended for a little while because Donald Trump ran for president. Before that, people accepted the rhythm of political speeches. Political speeches have a rhythm to them. They do. Because you want to convey the most amount of information in the shortest amount of time. You want to say, we're going to do this thing because we did this thing, this other thing happened. Because this thing happened, we accomplished this thing. And you pause in between because people are going to want to celebrate these. Sometimes they really, really do want to celebrate. Sometimes they don't care. It's the same thing that happens when you're doing an opening monologue on like the Tonight Show or something. You ever notice the Tonight Show is the same thing? Why? People want to applaud. Sometimes people are just excited to be there. And if you focus the applause in certain points, you can have that reaction to the chunks of the speech separated from the speech itself. And so you can go boop, da boop, da boop, da boop, da boop, da boop, da boop, and then bang, and then that's the last point you make, and then there'll be a bunch of applause. This repeats a lot, so if you're noticing the pattern, that's fine. It's not to trick you or anything. It's well, to a degree, I guess. If you don't know why it's happening, it might feel like you're being tricked. It's there to provide people the ability to say their talking points, show that there is a lot of reception in the crowd for their talking points, and also to sometimes, you saw this used very well with the RNC guy, or the union guy giving his speech at the RNC, to leave a spot for applause or clapping that maybe doesn't get filled as much. And so you get your points out, and then you're done. This is why you use a teleprompter, and it's why you practice your speech, because you want everything out, right? You want to say, we're doing this, we're doing that. Speech writers write speeches for this specific reason. Sometimes they actually have the words applause break or like whatever, or beat. They'll write the word beat, which means stop talking for a second, written in there. And it's because not everybody is as perfect as like how many streamers do you watch that are as good as at talking extemporaneously as me? I know it's not that high, and it gets more common when you get to the tippity top of fucking people that are streaming. And because it's a skill that I've practiced, and it's also something that's just in me that I can do this. Like, it's just part of my brain chemistry, but it's not everyone can. That doesn't mean that they're not a good leader. And if you have somebody that's a really good leader, you don't want their inability to just speak extemporaneously forever on something to hamper their ability to lead. You know what I mean? Also, people that do talk extemporaneously very well, like me, are very bad at staying on subject, like you may have noticed with me, or Donald Trump. I've said before, his brain works probably very similarly to mine when it comes to like formulating sentences. He's always trying to go for the next applause and shit, and he also doesn't care what other people think, so he just wants to go for the next applause break or hit. Kind of the same for me. And I'll accidentally talk past my time. With this, Kamala Harris has a specific amount of time that she's supposed to be addressing people. They know how long you can talk to somebody without people getting bored, because political speeches are very, 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 very boring, especially if they're dry and they're about policy. So you have a good rhythm. Okay, we're gonna space out our big bits. These are our big hits. We want to talk about this thing. We know, I'll just say it like this. Say there's an excitement level for each point. It goes from 1 to 3. 3 are the blockbuster. Everyone stands up and applauds for a while. You want those 3s spread out, kind of concentrated a little bit toward the end, but the 3 is going to make a very big break in between 1s and 2s. 1s are going to bore people. 2s are pretty solid. And so you write it out so it follows a little rhythm like this. And then you're done. And that's why these speeches sound the way that they do, to keep people engaged, to provide them a chance to interact with the speech by applauding or by booing, and to allow the rhythm to play out in the most efficient way possible so no one gets bored. We get all of the information out that we need to get, and then you're nice, excited, jazzed up. To quote George Costanza, "I'm leaving on a high note." And you can fucking hit the road and roll.
Affordable health care, affordable child care,
and then
family leave.
So watch, she's going to take a while. This is the big one.
We believe in a future where every senior can retire with dignity. So all of this is to say, building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. Because here's the thing we all here, Wisconsin, know. When our middle class is strong, America is strong. But Donald Trump wants to take our country backward. He and his extreme Project 2025 agenda will weaken the middle class. Like, we know we got to take this seriously. Can you believe they put that thing in writing?
Back down. Explain.
It's 900 pages. But here's the thing. When you read it, you will see Donald Trump intends to cut Social Security and Medicare.
Ooh.
He intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations and make working families foot the bill.
What?
They intend to end the Affordable Care
That's just going to go
Act
down a little bit. Wow.
and take us
Now,
back
second,
into a
two-tier.
time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions.
Bring
Remember
it back
what
down,
that was like?
and then she's going to finish off. Bam.
Children with asthma, women who survived breast cancer, grandparents with diabetes. America has tried these failed economic policies before, but we are not going back.
There it is.
We are
Set
not
up and you set it.
going back.
Boom! And that's how the speech works.
We are
This is the 3. See, now she's got that big gap.
We're not going back. And I'll tell you why.
She's getting it. She's not used to being cheered for like that, so now it's infectious for her. More than likely, there's plants in the crowd who are starting that cheer to keep it on track, right? And it's all put together and it is a presentation, but it does represent real stuff. Like, this is direct how excited we should feel and what's exciting about these things. Now, this is a precursor because this is a controlled environment. This is actually a campaign event. Reading the fucking screen, it's a campaign event in Wisconsin. It is a controlled DNC style event with probably a lot of political volunteers, with a lot of interested but not like highly dedicated. It's a bunch of people that are there to like behave themselves, sort of, and it's not the big groundswell crowd. More than likely that you'll see at a lot of places. These things will still happen. She's going to do almost this exact same speech a series of different times, and it helps you keep on message. It's a good thing to do. You're seeing an act of a professional. Right? It's like the thing that it kills it for you is because you see a little bit of the K-fob and you're like, wrestling's not real, but then you kind of ignore how hard it is to wrestle. That's what the first kickback that you feel when you start seeing these political speeches are. Once you learn how to fucking break it down and what you're actually trying to figure out, then you can do it. I would listen to these and just ignore stuff. Because I would know when I'm going to fucking have to actually start listening based on the applause levels and stuff. Like, okay, we're going to get the policy prescription here. Da 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 bum. Woo woo doo ba doo 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 ba doo 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 ba doo doo doo. And let me tell you, we're going to get that here. I am going to do this because you hear it. This is our person. This is what he's done. This is why he's bad. This is blah, 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 blah. She mixed that up with her own introduction. She introduced herself as the opponent of Donald Trump, literally, by introducing his shortcomings and her abilities all at the same time. Very well done. Highly efficient. Good writing. Saved space. He's this, he's that, and I'm used to that. Bop, 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 bop. We have these problems. These are the problems. These are the people who are affected by the problems. These are the problems. Bop, 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 bop. And we're sick of these problems because these problems are bad and they're harming these kind of people. And this is why it is bad. Bop, 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 bop. And then we're going to finish out because that 3 space, remember that big energetic 3 space? Woo, 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 boo, 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 boo. They're primed for that. They're liking the speech. We're going to do 3 or 4 of those set, and then she's going to do one more set. This is what my policy prescription. On day 1, we are going to do this. By the first 30 days, I have not pre-watched. I'm just going to guess that it's probably what's going to sound like. In the first 30 days, we're going to do something like this. And when we go to November, we are going to meet him in a free and fair election or something along that line. And I'm going to end Donald Trump before he could ever get into the White House and do something like this again. And then she's going to call, because I am going to be the 46th president, 48th, 7th president of the United States. Your candidate, and then she's going to walk off. Thank everybody. Thank you for coming, while they're all chanting, and then she's going to walk off, and another person's going to walk on and end the whole thing. This is how a campaign speech goes almost every fucking time. Let's see if I'm remotely correct. I might be completely off. Let's see. I'm telling you, I've not pre-watched, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and it's not going to look that cool. But if I am right,
we're not going back, because ours is a fight for the future. It is a fight for freedom. Generations of generations, and we have to remember this, the shoulders on which we stand, generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. And now, Wisconsin, the baton is in our hands. We, who believe in the sacred freedom to vote, will make sure every American has the ability to cast their ballot and have it counted. We, who believe that every person in our nation who should have the freedom to live safe from the terror of gun violence, will finally pass red flag laws, universal background checks, and an assault weapons ban.
Policy prescriptions in the last ride.
And we, who believe in reproductive freedom, will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans, because we trust women to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
Let's see if I'm making it close. So there it is. There's your policy prescriptions. Now she's going to do a big blowout.
And when
Bam!
Congress passes a law to restore reproductive freedoms as President of the United States, I will sign it into law.
If you're helping November.
So, Wisconsin, ultimately in this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? A country and to your point, do we want to live in a country of freedom, compassion, and rule of law, or a country of chaos, fear, and hate? And here's the beauty of this moment. We each have the power to answer that question. The power is with the people. We each have the power to answer that question. And in the next 105 days, then we have work to do. We have doors to knock on. We have phone calls to make. We have voters to register. And we have an election to win. So, Wisconsin, today I ask you, are you ready to get to work? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity?
This is a fire fucking speech, actually.
Do we believe in the promise of America?
This is actually kind of fucking slaps.
Be ready to fight for it. And when we fight, we win. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Big hit, walk off. There you go. Ba-doom, 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 ba-doom. Not completely predictive, but I got into the ballpark. So that's let's win this is her thing. So when we fight, we win is their thing, which is kind of fucking cool. Because they're going to fucking absolutely snatch the whole Donald Trump. Fight. I think that's a solid. That's one of the most solid campaign speeches I've seen in a fucking while. And I mean, I'm not glazing her. It's just unironic. It's not the hard bar to cross. Donald Trump's stuff has been dog shit for a long time. It's not been interesting. It's not been fun or funny because he's kind of like got no one to beat up on except for somebody that already fucking beat him in an election. So he just looks like a loser all the time. Ron DeSantis, I remember some Ron DeSantis speeches. Absolutely fucking dog water. I know I watched Cenk Uygur's I'm running for president statement, which is the equivalent for this. And that was, I can't remember a thing about it. We watched all of RFK. RFK can't give a speech to save his life because he has a brain worm and literally the voice box of a possessed Victorian doll. So, like, he can't deliver on shit. It's just horrible. He's horrible to hear, listen to talk. It just, sorry, that's your disability, but why did you? It's like watching a one-legged ballerina like go out and just keep falling on her face again and again. You're like, well, maybe this just isn't for you, Daisy. Like, what the fuck? Why can't you at least spin good? I don't know. What are you gonna talk about this week? RFK, what's going on? People said I have brain worms, and I have a brain worm. Fucking. RFK talks like he's just had somebody fucking cast Speak with the Dead on him. He's like, 5 questions ask of thee. 5 questions granted thee. What now will you ask of me? What? Why do you desire the throne, foul spirit? A worm implanted, now long dead. Still its ghost doth rule this head. Foul spirit, where lie thine phylactery, so that we may destroy you? Phylactery now, in leather bound, upon a shelf in Holborn town. A book. His phylactery is in a book. No wonder Donald Trump couldn't slay him. The man can't read. He would have never looked for it. I know. This spirit is very clever, but foul. A 3rd question, Ghost. Can't think of what to ask the ghost of RFK. I'm not gonna try to do his voice. I can do it. I can do it accurately. It hurts too bad. It hurts way too bad to try to do. I'm not even gonna like demo it. It's miserable. Oh man, what a fun. That's a good speech though. Solid speech. I'm riding with Biden on the way to Kamala's house, where she's gonna put him into hospice and run the goddamn country for us. I saw somebody posted it here, like, Kamala's put more black men in jail than, like, Donald Trump, and I think that's literally not true at this point. Kamala put just anybody that came across her desk in jail, right? She was a prosecutor. So, I don't know if people understand this, but, like, you get some degree of prosecutorial discretion, but, like, not that much. As an AG, I don't know, if she does anybody have any proof that she was like, I'm gonna get them black folk? I don't know. You have to prove that to me. If it was just like she enforced drug laws as a person who was strict on drug laws as part of her political career, I can't really fault her for that, because it's really not. It should not be up to prosecutorial discretion as much as it is in this country whether or not to prosecute a crime. Prosecutors are given too much discretion in my mind as it is. The executive branch should just carry out the laws of the legislative branch. If that's your opinion and now you're confused about what I'm talking about, you stop listening to Hassan. When you pursue activism through the executive branch, right? That means that first off, that's kind of an okay thing for everybody to do, and you might get an incident where we create precedents where activist execution of law, like basically instead of executing the law to the spirit of the law or the reason why it was written, you start kind of like, Weedle executing it. It can be cute and adorable sometimes, and you're like, oh, what about this one time where it was like really, really nice? And it's like, yeah, what about all the other times where it was really, really bad, which is most of all of the other times where people rule as lawyer laws as the executive branch and then just start doing crazy shit. You know what I mean? It's bad. The executive branch, I believe, really should execute the laws of the legislative branch as much to the letter of the law as possible, and the judicial branch should judge whether or not that's happening. And then the executive branch should, there again, make laws if the judicial branch is saying that the way that you wrote the law, the way that the executive branch is writing it, is how you wrote it, and so it's fine for them to execute it. So if you want them to execute it differently, you're going to have to rewrite the law. That's how the cycle should go. You know what I mean? Right? Like, oh, okay, well, I don't like the way the judiciary is like interpreting them, their ability to how they do this, so we're just going to rewrite the law so that they can't do that anymore. That's how it should go. That's really how it should go. The interpretation of law with the executive branch should be fairly limited in scope and practice. It should be really, if you make two decisions relative to the law, it should be whether or not to enforce it at all because it like goes outside of the moral prescriptions, or you just don't understand it. As opposed to like it's worded so vaguely you can kind of try to figure out however you want to do it. Like that's bad, but that's how a lot of laws are happening right now. The stopgap for that has been shit like Chevron and stuff, where it's like, okay, so they kind of can do whatever the fuck they want because you're not being prescriptive enough with the duties of the executive branch, which you need to do. Right? Because it does the thing that we actually want this to happen. You want this to happen as a leftist. You want this to happen. You want the powers of the executive branch to be limited. When I'll tell you why it's bad. Okay, activist interpretation of the law. You're like, but what about this town that did this thing? And you got them. An activist interpretation of the law is the United States president deciding to invade Iraq because he's doing a police action. That's taking power from the legislative branch and using it through the executive branch, through your own crazy interpretation, and then letting the judicial branch eventually say like, it kind of seems okay because you guys wrote this so vague that he can kind of do whatever he wants. So like that's why that's bad. If Kamala Harris was as a prosecutor, how many years ago was it? She was the DA in LA in like the 90s or the 2000s or something. A DA in the 90s. What we can look it up. Assumed office January 20th, 2021. Oh, I'm going backwards. She's 59. Kamala Devi Harris is 59. She's from Oakland. She was the 27th District Attorney of San Francisco from 2004 to 2011, preceded by Terrence Hallinan, succeeded by George Gascon. So she replaced a white guy. She replaced the whitest white guy ever. I would have to like really look into their backgrounds and stuff to see how bad or good of a prosecutor she was, but she was in office 2004 to 2011. That was really cleanup time. The 90s was like the crack epidemic, right? Especially the mid 90s is when Reaganite drug laws started really annihilating communities, and the slowness of legislation. It wasn't until like the mid 2000s you started to see the really hardcore crackdowns on drug affiliated stuff. So she presided over that. Then it is what it is. But she's the district attorney, so like, what was she supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, what should she have just stopped prosecuting drug crime? You know, like if you think about it, like if people are saying that, like why are you saying that? Like it sounds like a Republican talking point to like get people not interested in voting for somebody. Like what was she? If she's attorney general, sorry, or no. Yeah, 27th District Attorney of San Francisco. So she's San Francisco's head prosecutor underneath the AG. So also, by the way, she's still not like king shit. It's an elected position, but I believe, right? Let me just double check real quick. Let me just double check that. Okay, it's an elected position. Okay, cool. So she was elected. But as the DA, she has to do that stuff. She's elected, so if she doesn't do the job, she doesn't go on and get reelected. So the people of San Francisco wanted her to DA that way. That's kind of the thing, too. is like, it's an elected position. She won one time at least. Let's see, go back. 4 years. I didn't see how long the fucking incumbency is for, but so she did that job for 7 years. You can't, like, what are you supposed to do for like 7 years? You don't send anybody to jail. Like, her job, that's her job, is to prosecute crimes. It's not to decide whether or not the crime should be a crime. And that's the issue, because I feel like people that are saying that are really stupid. Like it's a really dumb thing to say, and you shouldn't repeat it because it makes you look like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Because it's not like she's a cop, like, inventing crimes to, like, arrest people for. People bring in stuff, and then she's like, yeah, my entire job is to prosecute these cases to the best of my ability. She has a literal duty to the people of San Francisco as an elected district attorney to not try to interpret the law, but to use the evidence, the state's evidence, to try the crime for the people that are underneath her, as a member of the judiciary technically, but as one of the head members of the executive branch that literally interacts with the judiciary. Like, literally, the legislative branch has passed these laws. We believe this individual has broken them. I, as a representative of the executive branch of government, the highest representative of the executive branch of government, am presenting the state's evidence gathered by the other state actors in order to prove to you that this law has been violated. You, the people of the jury who will decide, and you, the judge, the sitting judge, that the evidence has been gathered, is provided, and that we are executing all aspects of the law according to the law. Like, literally, could you judge whether or not we have followed the law the entire time? So, like, if you're upset with the executive or the legislative branch. You always should be. If the executive branch carries out all the shitty laws that you hate, they're doing their job. That's what they're supposed to do. Like, you can't get mad at that, really. And if you do, you can't do anything about it because it's the executive branch. They execute. They keep executing people. Yeah. They keep executing these laws. They just see a law and they just do whatever the fucking law says. Yes. It's the executive branch of government. You, like, if, like, getting mad at a prosecutor for prosecuting crimes is, like, psychotic. Now, if you found out she was, like, flubbing evidence at a high level and stuff, and, you know, like, oh shit, like, she just made up cases all the time, and I saw good evidence, not whatever fucking tweet Hassan read, then I will amend my view on her ability as a prosecutor specifically. But I'm not trying to elect her as the Attorney General of the United States, which is actually another job. It's the higher version of the job by two that we were just talking about. The Attorney General of the United States, prosecuting authority for federal cases at the highest level. She's not running for that job. So I kind of almost don't really care how she performed as a prosecutor, because she's already had other more relevant jobs. She was the vice president, so I'm going to judge her by her ability to be vice president. She did pretty fucking good. You know? It's so weird. You should be suspicious as fuck of anybody that says that, because it's like, what is the value in it? You know, like, why are you bringing that up? Kamala Harris was United States Senator from California, 2017 to 2021. So the first thing, she might be the president, might be the first woman president, black woman president, first fucking president being a black woman. Her first woman president being a black lady is fucking fire. What a reverse card, America. She started as a district attorney of San Francisco, and was probably doing stuff that's relative. So, like, that's a district attorney election. Turnout small. Let me just tell you that. The turnout's small. Your district attorney that you did not know about or did got elected to the attorney general in another election later down the line. That attorney general got elected to the United States Senate down the line, literally from 2004 to 2017. So 13 years after that first election, she's now a United States Senator off of that record. 2017 to now, another 7 years, she's in the running for president. Like, do I have to explain why that's important? Do I have to keep, like, because I talk to fucking internet lefties, and they talk about the dumb. I hear them, and they're talking about the dumbest shit. You know exactly who I'm mentioning. We need to do mutual support, blah 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 blah. Like that cute, precious shit is great. The people of San Francisco who voted in 2004 have more power over this election than any of the actual voters in America do, because they started it. You know what I mean? They didn't know. They didn't know, but they started it. 2004 was not a good year for American elections, by the way. For on our side, 2004 was Kerry v. Bush, and Kerry got fucking booty smacked, even though we were in the middle of a war, right? 2004, people turned out in San Francisco in a bad time in American history and voted for a district attorney. Fucking 20 years later, that woman that was elected district attorney in San Francisco is now, through the dice rolls of dice rolls, in a powerful position to be elected as the first black female president of America.